It's only.
I feel like they.
Why you have to be mad?
Sorry, what was that?
Is he Nashville? Am I close geographically?
They've
The
been cooking it
contracts.
up.
The contracts are coming in.
No one knows what he is. He's a big orange monster
What's
with
he?
googly eyes.
He's
and
a gritty.
Okay.
Little.
The Florida lead.
What do you think of Owen's bracket? Do you remember it?
It's hopeful.
Welcome to the Bread Loves Hockey podcast. How about that? It's episode 23. We're back from our holiday break, and for our audio listeners, we've got not one, but two special guests today for a 4-person call. We welcome back our buddies Matt Gifford and Zane. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks,
I
Brett.
remember the
Thanks,
last
Dean.
name.
I'm glad to
I
be
get that's
back,
true.
and
I didn't.
I'm glad to be back and be. I think I'm on the podium now for most guest appearances, second place. I think this is like number 4 for me. So
That's right.
I'll gladly take the silver medal behind Owen.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to catch up to him. And Zane
am I,
back
Brett,
on for
last?
his second appearance.
So there's plenty of firsts, Zane. I think so. I think you're doing better
Nice.
with 2.
Yeah, Bree's
All right,
only been
we're
on
moving
the
power
one time.
rankings. Oh, I'm ahead of the old lady.
Yeah.
Kind of messed up.
Sam
Brett.
has only been on once.
Hmm.
Chandler. So, not too bad.
We'll take it.
And Dean, he's been in almost
I've
every
been
one.
on-
I know.
Well, I don't count Dean because he's not a guest anymore.
Yeah.
He's a co-host.
For only like 3 episodes, he was a guest, and then that was it.
Well, there was what 2 episodes that I wasn't in,
Yeah. I think 2.
because one was the Zane one, I think.
Yeah.
I
One
mean,
was,
technically, this is
one was
the
Zane, one was
Owen
Owen.
loves. This is the Owen loves hockey podcast. So really, he's not a guest either. So I am actually gold for
Oh.
most guest appearances.
Clever. Lots of hockey news over the last little bit here. We took a week off. Dean and I's schedules just didn't align well enough to get a legitimate recording session and get it pumped out to you guys in time. So there's been, despite the holiday break, there's actually been a lot of stuff going on, not only just in the NHL, but in the hockey world. So pretty exciting time. Standings are a little
Where
bit
do you want to start?
normalized. Yeah. Well, why don't we we'll just start talking about the standings a little bit, because I think they've normalized for the most part, like compared to where a lot of people were expecting them to. Like the Oilers are, they're not in a playoff spot yet. They're 1 point back of Arizona with a game in hand, but they've been performing where they're supposed to be after firing Jay Woodcroft. So that's about what we expected. And I mean, a couple other teams are still sort of surprising us. Like the Flyers are still in a playoff spot. I don't think many people had them even pushing for one heading into the year. And a couple surprise teams are still on the outside looking in.
Ottawa's still terrible. Sorry, Owen. But they're,
Yeah.
they're still bottom of the East.
They have not improved whatsoever. They just got destroyed by the Canucks. They went down 5-0 in the first period. So
Gotta pack it up. The Canucks actually a surprise team.
yeah, they're one of the few that are standing strong, which sucks for Gifford and I.
Yeah, I kind of pegged to the Canucks like at the beginning of the season. We started seeing them play well, and they were competing great with Vegas in the standings. And everyone's kind of questioning, is it real? I thought, whereas the Flyers, I thought that was a fluke. I thought that the Canucks were kind of real. I mean, Demko has the capability to be a really good goalie. And they have a lot of good pieces on that team, Elias Pettersson and Quinn Hughes. So JT Miller, I was thinking that maybe they'd actually be something this year, but top of the Pacific is a little much. for my expectations.
Agreed.
Group of overachievers there, especially trading us Horvat and stuff like that, and still being trading a captain and being first in the division. I didn't peg him for that. So
Yeah.
Yeah, going back to the Flyers, has anybody been watching any of the Flyers games?
No.
Like, are you seeing anything
No.
special? Because I was looking at the stats, and it's like nothing pops out to me. I think it was like their penalty kill, if I'm not mistaken, was really good, but like the power play was like really bad, and like nothing stood out. So it just seems like they're one of those teams that's just like finding a way to win games, and more so of like what Vegas was last year when it comes to like you don't have any like major stars on the team, but rather like it's a collective effort to try to get points on the board and gather up some wins.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
just looked at their PDO because I'm like, that's got to be like way up there, but they're at like right at 1. So like even some of the advanced statistics are like, yep, they're where they should be, which is
Yeah.
I guess scary.
It's just weird because I mean, a lot of people were not expecting their prospects this year to be the big name ones that they're brewing. Like obviously, Michkov is still years away, and there's a couple other guys in their pipeline that weren't expected to really get in there yet. Gautier also, so they're winning in spite of themselves, which is like sort of Tortorella-esque in a way, where like they're putting their noses to the grindstone, I guess, and I do admit I haven't seen very much of them this year just because I don't really like the Flyers anyways, so I'm usually not going out of my way to watch them, but we'll keep an eye on them. They've played about the same amount of games as everybody else in the division too, maybe a couple more than a couple more than the Caps and the Devils, but that's pretty much it. Everything else says that they're right in the mix.
Yeah.
Where did you have them pinned preseason? Like bottom 5, bottom 10?
Probably like somewhere in the 5 to 10, like bottom 5 to bottom 10 range, like maybe 7th or so. I don't think I had them dead last, but they weren't sniffing the playoffs in my mind. I think for most people, not much really changed. Like they didn't really add that much to justify it, but it's a new year.
Yeah,
It seems like. Oh, go ahead, Zane.
I was gonna say I think it's the Tortorella effect. I don't remember who said it, but I think it's old Tortellini just doing what he does best and just getting the best out of his players before he verbally harasses them when they make a mistake. But like they're in like the good part, like the honeymoon phase, where they're all just like rallying behind the coach and getting it done.
Yeah.
I did just look at the stats, and this is what I was seeing before. So they actually have the worst power play efficiency in the league, 10% on the power play.
Yikes.
Right, whereas the Devils are 1 at 30. But then if you look at their penalty kill, they're 4th place at 85%. And then they have a league-leading 9 shorthanded goals, which 3 teams have. So it's like they're really good on the penalty kill, but the power play is like, just bottom feeders of the league.
Very much an anomaly.
Yeah.
So we'll see if they're still pushing for a spot, in a couple months. At that point, it's pretty much like, okay, yeah, it's hard to say that these guys aren't real, but I don't know. It just feels really strange.
I guess the only other thing I'd point to potentially is Carter Hart has a 912 this year, which is like probably league average, but last year's 907, then 905, 877 in the 2021 season. So like he's bouncing back because he was 917 and 914 his first 2 years. I mean, it's not like 912 is not a big difference from 905, 907, but like I think just having more consistent goaltending has helped them.
Yeah, something you can rely on instead of
Yeah.
that 877, which is kind of tough to win He can put
Yeah.
up 6 goals a game and still still might have a bad night.
Yeah, which I mean, speaking of teams that have been struggling goalie wise, Toronto with Samsonov specifically has been just plummeting. Like they lost 6-5 in OT to Columbus. They had another couple bad games, I think, where they let in like 5 or more. And yeah, even with like, because Wool is currently out. He was supposed to be their starter or backup to Samsonov this year. He's out with an injury right now. So it's currently Martin Jones, who was supposed to be the third string goalie, which he's like 38 and he's bounced around a little bit, although he had a good year last year. So him, and then they just called up like their top goalie prospect who was playing with the Marlies, Dennis Hildeby, who's like 22 or something. Like he's pretty young. He's one of the youngest goalies in the league right now, but he's been killing it in the AHL. So they're kind of just like taking him because they don't really have any other options. They can't sign somebody, like they have no money, and they barely have any contract slots either.
Yeah.
But they just shut out the Kings last night, so step in the right direction. But yeah. Just a really weird situation for them to have their starting goalie be absolute dog water.
Tough spot for the Leafs. And then Samsonov, they didn't even have him report to the Marlies, right? They were like, hey, take like 2 weeks off and like whatever's going on, like figure it out.
Mental reset.
I saw stuff about that, which fair enough because all goalies are insane in my book, but that's still not what you want to have from your, supposed to be starting goalie is taking a mental reset before playing in the AHL. It's not, then that's not quite ideal.
Yeah, this was just not expected at all. Like they just signed him to like a 3-year deal, and yeah, he just doesn't know how to play goalie right now.
Yeah.
Maybe he can figure it out, but I guess we'll see in about a couple of weeks, maybe.
Yeah, maybe he'll bounce back like Carter Hart did, and next to the Leafs will be some. Well, I guess they're not really an anomaly because they're loaded up front, but
they're scoring plenty.
Yeah. As
So I was gonna say maybe they end up having to be like a Edmonton Oilers playoffs last year, where it's like you just have to outscore every team because you're letting in like 3-4 goals a night.
Yeah, you're playing like preseason hockey where it's just running up the score like beer league style, and not the 2-1 playoff games that like the Kings will be playing.
It's All-Star game style.
Yeah, there it is, the All-Star game.
It's like, we'll just get another one. We're fine.
Yeah, just have someone cherry picking at the other blue line and just sprint to the finish.
Teams do you guys think are going to stay in? Do you want to go through that again, or do you not care? Still too soon? Do the Islanders fall out? They
No,
don't belong
loser
there.
point merchants. We got it. We're staying in there.
Yeah, what did you say they have? 10? Well,
yeah, it's
10
something
OT
like
games.
we've lost like 6 of our last 9 games, but like we have points in like the last like 19 of our last 22 or something like really stupid like that. I saw it on Twitter like literally an hour before we started, where we're just it's like a lifeboat of overtime losses where we give up a 2-goal lead and then we celebrate the 1 point that we get, even though it should have been 2. But I don't know.
They have 13 regulation wins, and they're 17, 10, and 10. Just to give you a little bit of a picture at how they're third in the Metro right now.
I mean, I feel like as far as non-wild card teams go, I think the ones like in an actual like playoff spot are like I could see them all making it. Like, none of them really stick out at this point.
Yeah, of all the of all the non-wild
and then we're
card
gonna
teams.
talk about them too. Vancouver's locked at this point, even if they like fall apart in Vancouver fashion.
I think so. Yeah,
So
unfortunately.
it's really just the wild cards. Like I still think Edmonton's the playoff team, and then
Edmonton,
So who
Arizona.
Edmonton.
Yeah, I
bumps
was gonna
out
say who
Arizona.
bounces out, or who does Edmonton bounce out in order to get into the playoffs? Like
I don't know
Arizona
if-
seems like the
Arizona?
easy pick.
Yeah, I don't know if
And
the
like
Preds could
Tampa,
hang on.
I was gonna say I might say Nashville. I mean, Nashville's got. I'm trying to look at it, but my eyes are terrible. Nashville's got 3 more games
4-3.
played than the Oilers, yeah, and they're
They
only
only have
4-7.
15 regulation wins, like 21, 16, and 1. So they're
Yeah, I mean,
they're probably getting a lot of good goaltending to be
they have
expected.
Saros.
Yeah, but they weren't really expected to be here, even though they brought in like O'Reilly. Like I think they're just trying to get the most out of their players, but I don't know if playoffs is exactly in the cards. I'm sure they're gonna fight for it. I know, and the Kraken have finally been resurging a little bit after a pretty abysmal start. So,
Yeah, and I think Tampa. I mean, they even played well without Vasilevsky, but I think they bump out Washington or Philly. I don't know, and the Devils. I mean, those are like the obvious picks that everyone had, right? Tampa
Yeah.
and New Jersey. And like that wild card race is so close.
yeah, it seriously is. There's what 4 teams within 2 points of a wild card spot, and
And
then
6 teams within 3.
yeah, so it's pretty tight.
Then how about in the East? Like you got the Lightning and the Devils just out of a wild card spot right now, and the Capitals in. Like, do you think the Capitals hang on?
No.
They just haven't been like I don't know how they're still even here. Honestly,
I
like they
know.
just haven't been playing good hockey this year. They
But like
scraped,
again, they're just one of those teams that's just scraping by like the
they scraped
Flyers
by
and
last
just finding
night.
way to win games.
They had a 4-0 lead, and Pittsburgh crawled back. They scored 3 goals, and then they just weren't able to close it. But like, yeah, they're not a good team, and their goaltending has been a big issue this year. They've had injuries, so and Kemper hasn't been good. So,
I don't think there's any
they're not
way
great.
Tampa, New Jersey, and Pittsburgh all miss the playoffs. And the Flyers, Islanders, and Capitals make it. I don't buy that.
Yeah.
I don't buy that for a second. I don't know who drops and who jumps in, but I don't.
Something smells fishy.
I don't know about all that.
This
I
ain't the
don't-
NHL I know.
Yeah, no, it just doesn't sit right with me when I look at it. It just looks a little wrong.
Yeah. In some personal or like account news, I guess. So our TikTok account for the podcast was surprisingly suspended and then escalated to a ban.
It's so many followers too.
Yeah. We had I think 5 or maybe 6 videos uploaded there. That it didn't give me like I just went to log into it one day and it was like, oh, your account is currently suspended. I was like, what? Like it didn't have a reason or anything. It didn't give me an option to appeal. I had to like Google something and like try to find like a way to reach out, and I found like some emails. So I just sent a bunch of emails to these accounts about like what's going on. Why did my tiny little hockey account just randomly get banned? And they emailed me a little bit later. They were like, your account has violated our integrity and authenticity policy. I'm like, well, what the hell is that? And
Yeah,
no,
what?
I didn't. They had like a link to their like policy guide or whatever. They had 2 sentences about integrity and authenticity. Basically, like, we don't want you to do anything that's not authentic or not original or whatever. And it's like, well, how did I violate that policy? You didn't tell me anything. All you said was you violated it. And then after...
Do any of the clips have anything like a highlight or anything on it, or is it just us talking in all of them? Like music?
No, none of them have any, like, copyrighted content or anything.
Shared image, like a picture of a jersey.
I mean, yeah, they got pictures of jerseys, but...
But that shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, it's
But
not.
come on,
They're not
Brendan.
fake.
How did you not know? How did you not know that opening up jerseys, okay, is questionable behavior and it's
Yeah.
not allowed on TikTok?
Pardon me, and thanks for the notice, by the way. Like, how about sending me an email notification like, hey, we're reviewing your account because we don't think that we think you're in violation of some policy you never read before. Even though you say you read it, but, I mean, who reads the frickin' policy agreements? Maybe that's something I should do, but, I mean, I wouldn't have not agreed to it if I read it. Like, I still would have been like, well, I'm not going to be doing anything that's disingenuous or unauthentic. Like, yeah, I'm fine. So I don't know. I emailed them again. Like, I strongly disagree with your decision. I guess I could just make a new account, but like we already had the Bread Loves Hockey handle. Like, I kind of liked having that. So
Oh yeah. That's,
So you haven't heard any news back, so it's like still banned. We have no information. We don't know if it's ever going to be like lifted. We have
yeah,
nothing.
basically they said after further review, we've determined that your account should still be banned. Basically, like what review? What
What did you
violation
review?
was
Yeah.
there? Like I have 5 videos. I have a link to my YouTube channel in my description. Maybe I don't even know if I did. I can't check because I can't log into my account because it's gone. It doesn't even exist. They say it's gone. It's suspended. So
do you have the
that's why I
video
haven't been
saved
posting.
elsewhere or no?
I might have one of them. Uh, I don't think I might have a couple of the videos. I don't think I recorded any of them in the TikTok app. Maybe one of them. So yeah, I think I still have the footage, but
Yeah, the only thing I'm thinking of is that it's got you got the team logos because the team logos are on the jerseys, but like
yeah, but
people
they
post
didn't
them all the time.
they
So
didn't
like, why would
cite
that
something
matter?
like that. Like, imagine banning every person that wears clothing that has a brand name on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Impossible. You
what
can't do
what the
that.
hell are you doing? And it didn't even say that. Like, that was a reason. So I don't know what to tell you guys other than maybe it'll come back. I'll update you on Twitter or on here if I have more news. But for right now, no TikToks. Maybe I can do like a YouTube short or something. I don't even really know how to do that stuff, but I can mess around and see what's what. But anyways, that's what's going on with the show, and go from there.
I guess it's better than the YouTube channel getting banned.
Yeah, that would be a bummer.
That would be a backbreaker.
We'd lose all of our loyal 20 or so subscribers.
I know. You guys are on track to be the JRE of hockey podcasts. You know.
I don't know what that is, but it sounds good.
the Joe Rogan Experience.
Oh,
The most popular. I'm not drawing any other comparisons.
Yeah,
just
yeah,
in terms
yeah.
of popularity.
strictly the numbers. We're only talking about the numbers.
Talking about the number of subs.
Speaking of numbers, we got a couple of extensions / deals. How about that segue? So Ben Hutton, the
Nice.
Vegas connection, he's been our kind of 7th D-man this year, but he's played up because of some injuries. He signs a 2-year extension at $975K. So I think Gifford and I are both pretty happy with that, based on how he's played this year and our expectations. So unless you have anything else, Gifford.
No, I agree with it. I think he's been solid for us. I mean, he's not a guy like you said. He's the 7th defenseman, so you don't expect him to be putting up a lot of points, a lot of goals. But he's a solid defenseman, and then he's come up well for us when we've had injuries with Theodore and Martinez.
White Cloud.
And the decor's the decor's been kind of obliterated this.
I feel
this
like
year, but-
Haig and McNabb are the only ones that haven't been injured this year so far, out of like the main
Yep.
6 guys.
Yeah, so he's definitely got a lot of play time. So I think he's earned that contract. And again, at 975, like you're not really concerned about that cap hit at all.
No. And then Ethan Bear, who was unsigned heading into the season, he has signed with the Capitals, and I think he just played his first or second game with them. He already has a point. So good for him to get a contract and get a little stability. It looks like he's enjoying being there, and I'm sure Caps fans are happy to see some sort of change, if anything. Throat's a little sore.
Uh-oh.
Well, those Christmas cookies, bread.
Yeah, that's probably.
Gotta take it easy on those.
Dean, you wanted to talk. I know you put the Devil's Pride jerseys in there.
Oh yeah. I mean, I just thought it was cool, and it was the player was on the Devils, right? That had the stick tape.
Yeah.
I forget his name. I forget who did it.
I don't remember.
We'll add it in here. But yeah, I think that's cool that, like, I guess the team kind of being behind the player, where that's the way I see it, and also the jerseys look cool. So.
Yeah, and they just did another jersey set for like Pacific and Asian heritage as well. I think they had a night for that, and they had a cool jersey that they weren't able to wear on ice either, but it was also designed by somebody in the community. So that's pretty cool. It's good
I mean, at
to
least
see
you can
that.
like walk into the arena with them and like get the pictures and all that, and then auction them off. Like I remember, I knew like originally they were banned, and they where you can just auction them after and like still have like Pride Night or whatever, but like it kind of defeats the purpose with the whole like no warm ups. But at least it's kind of like some middle ground where they can still kind of wear the jerseys and still auction it, but like I don't know, still dumb.
Yeah, and they did have the mascot, NJ Devil. That's his name. Gifford. You did the mascot quiz. I'm trying to remember.
I think that's it. NJ Double.
He was
Very
wearing
original.
the Pride jersey like while he was on the ice for warm ups, or he was not. Maybe he wasn't on the ice, but he was like at ice level, or whatever. So it's kind of cool that they were like, yeah, we can still like skirt this a little bit, like.
Find a loophole.
Maybe not maybe the players aren't wearing it, but like it's still being represented in a good way. So good to see. There's been pushback, and I think most of the players have been trying to do their part, which is good. Good representation.
Yeah, a couple players were doing the Pride tape too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember names, but that was cool.
I think Hyman did some, or maybe he's done some in the past.
Yeah, there's a couple different guys that did it.
McDermott or
Again, I'm
Dermott
blank on the names,
did it.
but
He was like the first guy to do it. A couple
Yep.
others, so pretty cool. They've been trying to do more stuff with inclusivity, and I just saw at the Winter Classic they had like stimulus like things or something. I can't remember what the term is. It's like for people who like struggle with these crowded settings, like if they still want to go to the game, they have like resources for them to provide, and they can like deal with it or whatever and still enjoy the game. I can't remember what the term
Like
is.
a quiet room kind of thing for like people who get overstimulated. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's sort of like that, and they have like it's like a grab
Sensory
bag or whatever
friendly.
stuff. What was that, Dean?
Sensory friendly.
Yeah, something
There you
like
go.
that. So, yeah, that's kind of cool. Like, it doesn't affect the people who don't suffer from those afflictions in any way. So, like, it really shouldn't be a problem that anybody, like, I don't know why you would have a problem with it, but some people are weird about including people that are different for some reason.
everything.
Yeah. But I don't have a problem with it. So that was cool. I think it was at the Winter Classic, and I think they've done that at some other games. They're just like regular season games, so pretty cool.
You want to talk about the PWHL?
Yeah, that's been big. I think the PWHL has finally started up. First game was New Year's Day. Toronto versus New York in Toronto. Big shutout win for New York, 4-0. And yeah, the league started. It had really good turnout. And it was able to be live streamed outside of Canada in YouTube, which is just huge for getting people to tune in. Like, it's literally that simple. And then I
You
think
said it was free, right?
yeah, it was free.
Yeah.
So
As we say that, I have the Minnesota Boston game, one of my side monitors.
Oh, there
and
we go.
Someone in Minnesota just ripped a fucking cannon of a one timer in the slot. I mean, that was disgusting. Anyway, continue. But I'm literally
just
watching
scored.
it. I'm literally watching it. You guys were talking like, oh yeah, it's free, and you can watch
Oh,
on
I
YouTube
tuned
and
in just in
everything. I
time to
just
see it. Nice.
yeah, I
Nice.
just absolute just laser beam of a one timer. But
Yeah, dude,
yeah,
the games have been so entertaining so far.
they're
Like
fun. They're awesome.
they are
Yeah.
really good. The skill is absolutely there. I don't count anybody who says otherwise as having a legitimate say. Like, no, I'm sorry, you can't
No,
watch this and say that they don't have skill as hockey players. Like, and they've been able to be a little bit physical too, which I think some
yeah.
fans were missing in some of the other leagues, and I'm sure in women's college hockey too.
Yeah,
Like they
that's
don't
been
really get to do
interesting
that.
because, yeah, like even in the Olympics, which like until the PWHL was kind of obviously like the best way to watch like competitive women's hockey. Like, can't really lay people out, but like you see some clips and they're throwing the body. It's it's really fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that being on YouTube is really huge because I think a lot of these, whether it's like a niche league or it's like women's sports where they're trying to get more awareness, they end up like burying the broadcast like on some premium subscription, or you just have to go digging for it. So for it to be somewhere so accessible like YouTube, and it's not like it's only on YouTube, they are broadcasting. I think I read on other places.
Yeah, I know
So
they're
like I
doing
think the
like
Boston,
CBC in Canada
yeah,
and MSG for New York and Connecticut areas. It's on MSG Plus. So if you have
yeah,
cable.
Nesson I think is
Oh, and
playing the
Nesson, yeah.
Boston games. So I think that was good. I was talking to my coworkers today about it, and they were saying how it's like it stinks when you like can't watch Bruins hockey sometimes because it's on Nesson. And it's like, well, you can watch the PWHL for free on YouTube. So like that's a plus, and a downside of the NHL is that we have all these blackouts. The year's 2024. We still have all these blackouts. You can't watch your team in your
Yep.
in your local market. Um,
Yeah.
but they definitely a huge win for women's hockey there that they decided to at least start it that way. We'll see how it continues. I don't know how long they're planning on holding the live streams on YouTube, but hopefully once they get more of a fan base, then they could always switch over to ESPN Plus or something that you have to pay for where they can also get additional revenue, but that they're not like locking themselves from getting new fans.
Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
think they're just trying to draw people in right now, which is the right move, I'd say. I mean, there's
Yep.
18,000 people watching this on YouTube right now.
Yeah, that's good. Very good.
Yeah, and the Toronto game was like the most well attended women's hockey or women's professional hockey game ever, which is huge. And I saw that. Of course, you see the comparison, like, oh, they more than doubled the arena for the Coyotes. It's like, partially you just sort of poking fun at the Coyotes because it's like, well, obviously they want to sell 18,000 tickets, but
Right.
yeah, just like, yeah, these guys these girls are for real. And I think there's a lot of interest in the league because a lot of people have wanted a unified women's league for a while, and that was the big reasoning for not being able to support some of the women's hockey players that they wanted to because there were multiple leagues and it just wasn't viable. So yeah, big steps for them. And then this year they won't have any branding really outside of colors and maybe some rudimentary merchandise, but they don't have the nicknames yet, and so we'll get more of that information probably at the conclusion of the season or start of the next season. Which
Yeah, I was about to ask about that. Is that so? That's definitely a plan for next season. So this whole season, it's just PWHL like Boston, New York, and then next year they'll actually have the full names and mascots.
that does seem to be the plan as of right now, just to get the players to get paid and play and grow the idea of the league, and then and another thing with it is that there's only currently one owner for all 6 teams, which is I think he's the owner of the Dodgers. He's got another financial institution, like he's like a multi-billionaire. So I think the plan is probably once this season wraps up, that they'll be able to drum up interest for other buyers to see the potential, buy the teams individually, and then market them and brand them the way that they want to. I think is the expectation at this time, which I think could be good. It depends on the ownership groups that they get, but hopefully they vet those things pretty well, and yeah, we start to get to see some real branding and some more identities other than just the players themselves.
I'm surprised that with how conservative they've been with some of these other things, like not having, team nicknames, and like you said, like having that same owner, that they didn't try to keep the league in one central location for the first couple of years and then branch the teams out into different locations. And maybe that's trying to get the fan bases started up.
I think
I
so.
know like the PLL, like the one of the more popular lacrosse leagues now, they started by keeping everybody in, I think it was Atlanta, Georgia. They played there or at least that they were based out of there, and they would just travel every single week to a different city to like showcase. And then they just this year they split out into cities, and now I think they have like separate owners and everything. So I thought that meant like that's kind of like a good way to start a league. But I guess I could see it the the point of view of trying to like start interest into that city and try to get people to already show up supporting the team.
Yeah, I think that was the plan of attack with that. So, and then along with having the new teams and everything, new players, the PWHL also has a couple of different rules. One of which being how the points are scored for the standings, and they're doing the 3-2-1-0 system instead of the 2-1-0. So 3 points for regulation win, 2 points for overtime or shootout win, 1 point for overtime or shootout loss, and 0 points for regulation loss, which I think is a positive. I know a lot of people have been sort of clamoring for that for the NHL, because they think some teams are getting into playoff spots that aren't necessarily deserved just because of those loser points. Like,
Islanders.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like we all know we're talking about my team here, but
or the Flames last year were 1 point out of a playoff spot because of all those loser points they got. Like they lost so many times in overtime and shootout last season, and they almost made it in anyways. So I think this is supposed to incentivize players and teams to maybe not ice it with like a couple minutes left in the tied game going into the end of the third. Like maybe try a little bit harder to get that extra point, because it could be the difference between getting 3 points and getting 1 point, which is like
pretty big deal. Yeah.
That's the same as winning in regulation or losing in regulation in the NHL. So it's kind of a big deal.
All right, so question for everyone here. If you were able to make the decision right now for the NHL to switch to that point system versus the current point system, would you do it or not?
I don't really know. I haven't put a lot of thought into the 3-2-1 point system, but I've always, well, I think I said on the pod that I want overtime and no shootout and just have a 10-minute overtime, and then if nothing happens, it's just a tie, and that's when you award like a point each or whatever. But I don't know. 3-2-1. I feel like that's just inflating it even more, and we already have like the loser point. But I'd have to think about it, I guess, is the short answer.
Because you could go back to ties as well, right? Didn't they used to tie?
Right, but I think is it not the AHL? What league is doing it? The 10-minute overtime. They switched from the 5-minute 3-on-3 to 10, and it went from like it's like 89% of the time it ends before the 10.
Was it ECHL?
That sounds right.
That might have been. Yeah, it was one of those leagues. I kind of like the extended overtime, and then if nothing, then no shootout, just call it a tie.
I like the suggestion that Dean had in a few episodes back where he said every game you do a shootout before the
Oh,
game
yeah.
starts. I do legitimately think that is
There you go.
a good situation. Like, yeah, you get the fans to get there a little bit early. They get to watch something that might actually have an impact on the game. It would affect like warm up schedules and things, but that's really not a big deal. And then yeah, you get some players to get a look that maybe they wouldn't get to. Like you get to see some players showcase some stuff because it's probably not going to mean anything, but it could. So it's like you kind of get to experiment a little bit. And then, yeah, if it ends after 10 minutes of overtime, just call it the shootout winner. And then no ties because I think ties are kind of ugly, personally. I I like there to be some sort of line in the sand drawn.
I just feel like if you go 10 minutes of 3-on-3, it's even how I feel about shootouts right now. Like, there's been really good 5-minute 3-on-3 overtimes, like back and forth, like there's good chances on each end, and then it just goes to a shootout. And it's like no team deserves to get the win this way. Like if you go 10 minutes 3-on-3 and it's still a tie, I'm like these two teams are evenly matched. Just call it a tie. Like don't give someone a point just because they like were able to do a little cool trick in the pregame shootout.
Well, maybe you do a 5 minute and then do that then instead of 10 minute.
Do what?
Do 5 minute OT with the shootout at the beginning.
I don't know. I just don't want a shootout to decide it.
Yeah,
And I get like I don't know.
we're gonna have a difference of opinion on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind like avoiding ties if there's a better way to do it. Like, I think it was Tortorella who was like, just let them play until they like are dead on the ice,
Until they
just like
drop.
3-on-3 overtime until someone wins.
Yeah.
But like, I also understand that like, if somehow it goes for like 30 minutes, like with travel schedules and stuff, and like a back-to-backs or something, that would be kind of tough. But like,
Yeah,
how
you
often
get,
is that gonna happen? You know?
Yeah, imagine playing like 3 games in 4 nights and then having like 2 of those be like overtimes as long as it takes like in the playoffs. Like
I mean, that's
that's
what basketball does in regular season. If
Yeah,
it's
they
tied, they
do.
just keep going.
well, they
Yeah.
just keep going, but those are like yeah, I don't know. It's not as basketball is not as taxing as
Yeah.
Definitely
A lot
not.
lower impact than hockey.
Yeah.
like it's just as simple as that. I like basketball, but it's just yeah, it's not.
Also, I feel like it's less likely to be tied after overtime in basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Happens,
lot
but
easier to score,
rare.
right?
Yeah.
What do you guys think about the additional rule that they had for the shootout, where a player is eligible? I think it's like any time for like any shots. So I think you could like keep running the same player over and over and over again in the shootout if you wanted to.
Yeah, I
I
did
like
see
that.
that. And
They did in the Olympics.
isn't it 5 rounds of the shootout too instead of 3?
Yeah, so it's a standard, or yeah, so it's 5, and then it becomes sudden death. But it says a player is eligible at any time to take any number of shots and as often as the team chooses. So, like, if you have, like, if you're the Edmonton Oilers, you just run McDavid out there like 5 times in a row.
I think I don't know, it's kind of fun. Like, the Sochi Olympics with TJ Sochi, that was cool. Maybe like the allure will wear off after it's like, oh, Oilers in the shootout, time to watch 8 rounds of McDavid, right? Maybe it'll start to suck, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think I'm probably against it because I just make it like you'd like it to be a little bit more team oriented than we happen to make it this far and now we'll just ride our super good player. Like I don't
Yeah.
know, that's kind of always been the thing that I've admired about hockey is it's probably one of the least individual effort like the team is the most important part. So I'd probably be not in favor of that, but we'll see how it goes and how it's abused. And maybe they
I
change
think
it
it'd
up.
be interesting because I don't think I don't think a team like I like the fact that a player can go over the boards more than once to attempt it, but I think teams wouldn't like if they like for example the Oilers. I don't think they would send McDavid out there every single time. I think you want to give different looks, at the goalie, and like if like for Vegas, like watching Vegas in the shootouts, it's like I see the same players make the same shots every single time. And it's like the goalies are looking into that. They know how the tendencies of the best players in every team. So it's like, are you going to keep sending out the same guy, or are you going to like mix it up a little bit? So maybe you like rotate your like 3 or 4 best guys.
Yeah, I
I
guess
also
that
feel
would be
like
fair.
the best player on the team has earned the right to keep going. Like going back to McDavid, it's like you've seen him try to carry the Oilers like kicking and screaming through games. And like if they make it to overtime, then he's like, all right, like I'm going out there, like
All right, I'm doing it.
I
Yeah.
can make a difference now, rather than like generally with hockey where even the best player, like you see it every year with the top players getting drafted on the crappy teams, like even just that one player, if you play him 25 minutes a night, they still can't carry a team to the playoffs because it's like a team sport. But if you make it overtime, like I don't know, let them have their moment. And you also
Yeah.
mentioned it goes to sudden death, so that means like round 6 is just the first person to score. There's no like
Yep.
retaliating, or like there's
Like
no
the
chance to
equalizer.
answer if you're the second shooter,
That's what
I
I
don't.
thought sudden death meant, but maybe not.
or is it just like the next one in? 'Cause that would
I'd
be
have to
interesting
look
too.
it
Like,
in. I think it. I want to say, but I don't know this for a fact. But I want to say it plays out like the NHL, but
okay,
instead of it being 3-round beginning, it's a 5-round beginning, and then it's like
and
who
then yeah,
scores and who doesn't.
just the term sudden death made me like question that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we can look into it more, but like from what I've seen, it makes it
It would
out like
it would
it's
seem
round by
strange to do
round from
that.
then on out.
Yeah.
And did you guys? There's also a rule for the PWHL where if you score on the penalty kill, the power play is nullified for the other team, like it's eliminated.
I think we talked
Um,
about that.
yeah.
Yeah. I like that rule. I think that's cool. That's I think an interesting. I think it'll get a different look for like PKs and stuff like that. You're not turtling quite as much because there's like, I mean, obviously like it never hurts to score, but if you're gonna score a goal and then also nullify their advantage, it gives you a little bit more incentive to, maybe have a more
Forecheck.
aggressive PK and forecheck a little bit. Yeah, instead of, as soon as you get it, just whip it out of the zone and like, oh, I killed 8 seconds because I gotta go down the 180 feet and bring it back. Kind of incentivizes you to maybe get a little more creative in your PK and stuff like that. So I think it's a cool rule.
I feel like that also balances it a bit, where like since the power play team can score as many times as possible, like in the 2 minutes, it gives it some balance to allow the penalty kill to like end it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. So it's a cool rule. I don't think it's been utilized yet, as far as I know from watching the couple of games. I haven't watched the game going on right now yet, but we'll see.
I just in general, I like that the PWHL is trying new stuff and not just like copy and pasting the NHL rulebook.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's important because I mean, if it was exactly the same, it's like, what I think it has a lower chance of success. But if there's other like interesting rules that maybe add some new dimensions to the game, and you only get that in the PWHL, I think that makes people more likely to continue to watch it. So in general, I like that they're trying different things, even if individual ideas I think might be like meh. I like that they're trying to add their own spin to it, make the league unique in some way, other than just being, women rather than men, obviously.
Yeah.
And I think that's good for the NHL too, because it allows the NHL like another resource to use when they're creating their rules. So it's like now that there's these different rule book changes in the PWHL, well, now the NHL is going to be watching every single little bit of that to see if something makes sense for them to change as well. So it's just like another test scenario for them.
Yeah, exactly. Another little test environment for them to see how stuff works.
Yeah. And I think it'll probably help the league to grab people that aren't already in the NHL hockey, like watching market. Like there's probably some people that will watch the PWHL but don't watch the NHL, because I mean it is different. I know that there's people that only watch like college women's hockey, and they don't watch like NHL stuff because they just grew up watching college hockey or whatever, so that's what they're interested in. They don't really care about men's league or the NHL. So I think just having a little bit different rules and way to be different will grab people not just from the already watching the sport market. So yeah, we'll follow up and see how they're doing, but I think they've been received pretty well. I've been enjoying the games that I've watched, and excited to keep watching.
Yeah.
I haven't picked an allegiance still yet. I was mentioning this. I think I'm probably leaning towards New York, but I like their colors. I like their team so far. So that's probably where I'll go. Plus, I'm from New York, so.
Yeah, probably same.
I was
I would
gonna-
love to
I
see a state that doesn't have an NHL team get a team, like a New Hampshire, Utah's probably gonna get an NHL team, or like a, I don't know, Montana or something like that. Just some state that doesn't have an NHL team. That would be really cool. I think if they had a PWHL team.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Delaware.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island gets their own. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Like-
Rhode Island and Idaho will have a great rivalry in the PWHL.
That'll be fun. They haven't really talked about expansion next year or anytime soon, so we'll see. I'm sure eventually, if the league does well, which I think it will, they'll grow beyond 6. But 6 for right now, which is still a good amount.
Where the NHL started.
Yep.
Yep.
Original 6. That's that's how they're treating it. Like, history's being made. This is the start of this new league, and 50 years from now, it's like, wow, can't believe how big things have gotten. Hopefully. But that's enough PWHL talk for now. Plenty of action in the NHL too. We were talking already about the Winter Classic. Not to dwell on it too much, but our Vegas Golden Knights, ours being Gifford and myself, did not show up and got shut out by Joey Decor, the Coco Cup champion, and the Seattle Kraken.
As I saw a tweet say, it was a forgettable game in an unforgettable environment.
Yeah. We're now 0 for 2 in outdoor games because we lost the Lake Tahoe game too after being rescheduled because of the sun and the ice melting. They had to push it back like 3 hours, and then I wasn't able to watch the rest of the game.
I feel like it was like midnight. Wasn't it like playing at like midnight or something like that?
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah, I watched it, but it wasn't a great game either, and the ice conditions still weren't that good. And then obviously, like you said, Colorado ended up winning that. So
Dean had a good experience
No.
with the Tahoe games, though.
Yeah, that was a great game. Like a blowout, if I remember.
They did pretty good. I mean, you guys were playing the Flyers, so it wasn't.
When
You
we
weren't.
top in the division.
You weren't playing the Avalanche like we were.
well, you weren't playing the 2023-2024 Flyers though.
Seven-
That's true.
Those guys are good.
Lost a hat trick.
Pasta hat trick, yeah, and that's where the Barbie girl meme came
yeah.
from after the post game interview where he just wanted to listen to Barbie girl, and now I've got to talk to you guys, and I really don't want to. What
did you guys think about the overall like game presentation as compared to other Winter Classics?
I like the Kraken's little pier they had.
Do you like the fish being thrown over them as they entered the ice?
The fish tunnel was funny.
Yeah, I thought they did. I thought they did a pretty good job. Can't remember the kid's name who wailed on the guitar for the national anthem. He was like a Seattle native, I think, or maybe Spokane or something. But he nailed it. He did really well. That was pretty.
That
cool.
was really good.
They had. I think they.
And the
just had
jerseys are
a
growing
lot-
on me too.
They just had a lot of like. This is definitely Seattle like stuff going on, which was cool. It felt pretty. Like I've never been there, but just like based on, media and how Seattle's always described, like I feel like it was pretty spot on. So that was cool. I think The jerseys looked pretty good. Vegas's is still not my favorite. I did end up getting that one. It's in the background now. And my Seattle one should be coming in tomorrow, which I lucked out because they are sold out everywhere. But I was able to get one.
Nice. I was gonna say
Yeah.
that, like when they initially released those, I don't know if I was on the pod when that happened, but I was kind of disappointed in Vegas. Obviously, we all think I think we all think that Seattle's jerseys look really really good. But over time, the Vegas jersey has grown on me, and like I said, I finally pulled the trigger. So I'll be getting that shortly, hopefully.
You're still one away from the full collection though.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm ever gonna find one of those. The initial reverse retro. Well, actually, I don't even have an away, to be honest. So I'm.
Oh, you don't have an away either?
No, I like the white jersey. Just it doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
why
in
it's
a way,
buried
I mean,
into the bottom over there.
Like maybe someday I pick it up, but it's like, I don't know. I don't need to have it. I didn't really need to have this Winter Classic one, but it's like I said. It's grown on me. It was like I never expected to like it, but here we are.
The cream is good, and so we'll see what we still haven't really gotten much of anything as far as the Stadium Series jerseys. Zane's Islanders will be duking out with the Flyers, which I kept messing that up. I thought it was the two New York teams were playing, and then it was the Devils and the Flyers, but it's actually the two.
Really?
Orange teams that are playing each other, and then the Devils and the Rangers are playing each other. So, we haven't gotten much of anything. They're playing in late or mid February. I think it's 17th and 18th. I want to say.
Sounds right.
So, we'll see what that looks like as we go forward. We already know the Jonas Brothers are going to be making an appearance.
That's what I'm excited for. I don't care about the Islanders hockey. I'm just ready to see the Jonas Brothers.
Well, you'll have to watch the Devils game because I don't think they're going to play both nights.
Ah. That's all right.
I don't know who the musical guest for the Islanders game will be.
I think I saw it in like a Facebook group or something, and I can't remember either.
Ralph Macchio. or Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah. Both of them just doing their best.
Yeah. I know they've gone to some games together. But like Macchio actually is a big Islanders fan, but I think Jimmy Fallon will root for anybody.
Kind of a diehard. I think Jimmy Fallon just like I'm just gonna like support like New York sports teams and like do the thing and
like he supported like the Rangers and stuff before and the Islanders and same with like Snoop Dogg like. Yeah.
Snoop Dogg just likes every team. Yeah, whatever team gives him a jersey, that's his favorite team.
Yeah, exactly. Like yeah, probably default would be Kings, but I definitely have seen him rock some other threads before.
Yeah. Chloe Grace Moretz also a diehard Islanders fan apparently. Like every time she goes to a game, the Islanders Twitter is like spamming the shit out of like her like going to the game and cheering and stuff. So.
Who did you say it was?
Chloe Grace Moretz.
I don't know who that is.
Oh. All right, well, screw me. No, she's I couldn't even tell you the last movie she was in, but
actress, then.
Yes, yeah. That's what we cling to as Islanders fans. We don't get Snoop Dogg like the Kings do.
Right.
I can't find a music guest for the Islanders game. It just says that the Jonas Brothers will be playing prior to the.
TBD then.
It says Jonas Brothers before the Devils and the Flyers. Okay, maybe no Flyers face off. The Devils and the Flyers are playing. I thought you said the Orange teams were playing.
That's what I thought. Oh my god, maybe I mixed it up twice.
It's Devils. No, it's Devils. It's Devils Flyers. So that would mean the Islanders have to play the Rangers.
So then I was right the first time. Then okay. Yeah. Well.
It doesn't matter. Wait a minute. You're still not going to be able to see the Jonas Brothers.
Yeah, that's too bad.
I know, but now I don't have to watch the Flyers play hockey, so
yeah,
that's a win.
But you do have to play the Rangers, so
that's all right. I'm not afraid of the Rangers. We can take them. I believe in us. We'll have all 6 of our defensemen healthy instead of 2 of them, and we'll be just fine.
So what are you going to take them to? The overtime or a shootout?
we'll be up 3-0 at the start of the third, and we'll lose an OT 5-4. That's my prediction.
Sounds good.
Does that go
And
onto the pod lore?
Yeah, it'll be like Panarin with like a one-timer, like 28 seconds into overtime, and that'll be the end of the game.
Damn. All right.
Yep.
We got the call.
Yeah.
How has Bortuzzo been doing since he's been traded? to the Islanders?
Actually pretty solid in like a bottom six, like role, and then his like a knee or side or something blew up last night against Colorado. So
Oh.
he's on the injured reserve. Yep, he's on the IR.
Damn. Well, that was a good little run there.
Yeah, I actually liked him as a pickup. He wasn't bad. Little
Paid
awkward
nothing
because a
for
couple
him.
seasons ago, yeah, exactly, like a 7th-round pick, but a couple seasons ago, he was the one that concussed Pelech and put Pelech out for like 30 games. That was like a really
shoot.
like a pretty like obviously dirty hit, and then 3 seasons later or whatever, and we're like, hey, Pelech's injured again. You wanna come on over to the East Coast? And but
That's
I liked
funny.
him. I mean, he at this point he'll probably come back, and I don't know if he'll have a spot on the roster because I think Pelech, Pulak, and are both pretty close to being back, and Mayfield just came back. So I don't know if he'll be playing by the time he's healthy, at least in a regular top 6 role. But I like him regardless.
I don't think he was picked up to slot in to replace one of the younger guys once everybody's healthy. So yeah, probably gonna be playing in Bridgeport in a little bit if he comes back. I don't know how serious the injury was, but
yeah, I don't know. I think he'll likely stick around as like a 7th D, kind of like it was for the Blues. He'll come in for some matchups, or if somebody's a maintenance day. But
yeah,
a lot of our young guys like Hutton is not really ready. So I think
you guys
he's
have a
probably the
Hutton
7th D
too?
we bring around. Yeah, we do. We have a Hutton and we have a Sebastian Aho. So
Right.
we're just ripping off other teams at this point. We don't have any original players.
You got Dobson.
It's true.
Nobody else
Norris
has one of
watch.
those.
Norris watch on Dobson.
He's been good.
Still over a point per game. Got an assist last night. Him, Barzell, and I think Horvat are all still at a point per game.
I'd say that's pretty good,
We'll take it.
especially for a defenseman.
Yeah, he's playing out of his mind right now. Still a little soft defensively every now and again, but whatever. He's still better defense than like Carlson, and he's putting up points, so we'll take it.
Yeah, that's good.
I'll just keep going in order. So 2 Michigan goals happened in the same night. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we're a little behind on that one, but
Like 2 weeks ago, or that was like a week and a half ago. 2 weeks. I don't know.
like 9 or 10 days or whatever. But
Yeah, it was like a week, or like just under 2 weeks ago.
that
I
was
think the one
freaking
thing-
cool.
It was Bedard and Zegras, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the first NHL Michigan goal, and like watching that, and then watching these ones. It's crazy, like how much faster they do it now. Like Zegras was basically just full speed, like didn't stop skating. Somehow just got like he didn't even do like the thing where like he bent down. He's kind of like it was just all of a sudden was on his stick and in the air. And
It was so smooth, yeah.
Yeah. It was his
I mean,
first
Bedard's
game in
always
like 20
thinking-
games or something, right? Like he just came back from
Yeah.
injury. That was the first thing he does. Is you're like, all right, cool. He'll go all over SportsCenter top 10. Sounds good.
I think someone in the media asked him to do it, like, and he's like, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
did it.
like the Anaheim not beat reporter, like the on ice reporter. I can't remember her name. Maybe Ashley something. No. Anyways, so yeah, it was like her birthday, and so she was like, "Could you like for my birthday do like give me a Michigan goal?" And then he's like, "Yeah, sure." And then after the game, he's like smirking. He's like, "There you go."
Got
like,
you. Yeah.
Holy crap! He just decided he would do that. Sure.
Ali Lozoff.
Oh yeah. Ali Lozoff. I think she does. I think she does like some of the podcast stuff for the Ducks too. So yeah, that was really cool. I think, and Dard also is the other player, and his was also awesome, especially because it was on Bennington, which like, I mean, yeah.
Bennington's a fucking basket case. He's like, he put a hole in some drywall in the locker room after that one for sure.
We were robbed of the Fleury Bennington fight, but we at least got the Bedard lacrosse move goal or Michigan goal on him. That's pretty good.
The two things I was thinking when I saw those was one, you kind of already mentioned it on like how effortless it was. Like they both kind of like not only did they do it like full speed and it was just kind of like a whatever, but then there wasn't even like a massive celebration. It was just kind of like, yeah, I just did that. And then I think the other thing is that the NHL is looking at it and they're saying like they're applauding because they know that the NHL is in good hands, you know, with the next generation still coming in. I mean, Bedard's being a rookie, and then I think what Zegras is only still like his third or fourth season in the league, so it's like he's still pretty fresh. So just to see that like you know these young guys are making big plays is always good for the league.
Yeah, definitely. Pretty cool plays too.
There's actually somebody on the, I think it was a Canucks, like last night tried the Zegras like Michigan assist from behind the goal.
I was gonna say
didn't work out.
Didn't
work out. But...
Hoglander tried it.
Yeah.
And like the Sens player was able to like sort of scoop it and get it out of there. He's like, yeah, no.
Yeah,
you're not doing that.
We don't do that here. You're not that guy. But still cool to see.
Just a different type of play you got to be prepared for.
Yeah. I mean,
and
I
then,
who
who was it? There was one player. Oh, I think it was Zegras when he faked the Michigan, and then he did the pass goal. So that one was like basically a Michigan, but not really. It was still like similar. So like lacrosse-esque. So that was pretty cool. It's like, yeah, you can also have them think that they're defending the Michigan and then go for something else. So it just adds a little bit more depth. I don't think many players should still try it. Like if they haven't seriously practiced it a lot. But just something else you can add to your repertoire.
Yeah, like I don't think Bortuzzo was pulling that off anytime soon, but
yeah, Alex Pietrangelo rolls out there and he's like, sure, why not? I could do it.
Yeah, you get Ryan Reeves in his concrete hands tries to do it, but some of the young guys doing it is fun.
Yeah.
When will we get the first PWHL Michigan?
Might not be as long as we might think.
This year?
That's a good question, yeah. Honestly, that would be pretty sweet for hyping up the league is if someone in the PWHL hits it, some like random like Finnish or like Phenom or something. Like I don't know why like a Finnish player stands out to me as like the type to do that, but they I don't know, it does. It's the first thing I thought of was like, oh, some like 19-year-old like Finnish like prodigy is gonna pull it off. Like I think it was a Finnish player a while back, and I think she's still like in like the U16 league or something, but she's putting up like these ridiculous like video game numbers. I'll try to find it while we're talking about whatever's next, but
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, what do you think Owen sent in the group chat with like some 15-year-old? Was that? Did he send it? Some 15-year-old getting signed for some women's team.
I don't remember
or
that.
Did I see it somewhere else?
Maybe he did though. Owen sends a lot of things.
He does.
I send a lot of things too, though, so I can't harsh his buzz that hard.
Oh, this was 7 months ago. That's not it.
Probably not.
Well,
did you guys so we actually reported on this incorrectly, or I thought it was one way, but it's actually not. The All-Star game, so the 32 All-Stars are going to be announced, one for each team, tomorrow by the league. So I was incorrect because I thought that they were, because of the draft, they weren't necessarily having one representative from each team there, but that is the case. And then there'll be 12 fan vote-in players after the fact. So total of 44 players. And then, yeah, they'll have the draft and then the skills competition and stuff. So I think some people will probably still be a little disappointed that they're doing the whole each team gets a representative thing, but I've argued this before with that point. It's like, yeah, it's for the kids who are fans of the teams that maybe aren't doing so well. It's like, yeah, you still want to have somebody from your team there. It's for fun, It's more of a spectator event, so I'm not really that surprised that they're still doing it. So
I think it was this 15-year-old that was the first or second female player to ever get, and first American female player to get drafted into the WHL.
The goaltender.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I don't know if she's gotten into any games since then, but still cool.
Mm-hmm.
That happened a little while ago.
I don't know how to pronounce this Finnish player's last name, Lapus Nova or something. But already hit a Michigan in a game. The first woman to score a Michigan goal in an IHF game when she was 14 in the U18 World Juniors.
Damn.
And then I go to look at her stats, and in the Slovakian Women's League, she put up 49 points in 8 games last season. Just like that.
Holy, that caught me off guard. I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe like 20 games or 15
Yeah,
games.
no, I'm looking at it, and like I checked Wikipedia, and then now I'm on like the Elite Prospects page where it's 28 goals and 21 assists in 8 games.
That's insane. That's insanity.
That's like when you put all the sliders to like 100 and like your NHL Be a Pro, and you go and play against like Team Great Britain.
Yeah.
And make it like the easiest
so
like game mode.
Slovakian? Is this the person?
I think
Must be
she's
Slovak.
It was in
Slovakian.
Finland
Yeah.
when she scored it, I think.
Oh.
Okay, yeah, Slovakian. That's why I had Finland on the mind, but
Yeah, Nella. Yeah, I'm not gonna try that.
yeah, no, but
No
yeah,
disrespect.
Yeah, the U16 season, she played 56 points in 19 games as a 14-year-old, 15-year-old. That's ridiculous.
Wow, that's cool. So
Yeah.
maybe in a couple years we'll see her.
That'll be fun to watch,
the
like the
PWHL.
Olympics, and probably like the Connor McDavid of the PWHL right there.
That's cool. And then speaking of the World Juniors, so the men's World Juniors are still going on. We're recording this on Wednesday, so the semis are tomorrow, and then finals are Friday. So we won't be able to talk about the winner of the tournament until next year. But some big upsets. Canada loses in the quarterfinals to Czechia, so they don't medal. I think them and the USA were probably projected to be, around the 1 and 2. Maybe you swap them around. I think Sweden was probably in the mix as well for maybe one of those spots. But yeah, pretty disappointing for the Canadians. They lost in pretty heartbreaking fashion too. 11 seconds left in the third period with a tie game. Czechia scores. It's like kind of a wacky bounce of a goal. It was like deflection, no chance for Rousseau, and that's it. It was pretty crazy, honestly. Canada was like mostly outplaying Czechia for most of the third period, but they just they were strong defensively. They didn't give up anything super big, and Canada couldn't convert, and then they get a lucky break and Canada's done. So
That's all it takes.
I think the semis matches are squared away. It's I want to say USA versus
Finland,
and then Sweden versus Czechia.
Did I miss something on what the Germany Norway game is? Also the same day. They have a game scheduled with the 2 semifinal games.
That I don't know what that is.
Maybe like an exhibition, like a consolation or something.
Yeah, I'm
Maybe
not
just
sure.
Yeah, I'm not
families
sure
that
because I mean
traveled,
they're still gonna play like they have. You're gonna have the final, so you're gonna have who's playing for first and second, and then you're gonna have that third place game for the 2 losers. But like I don't know what Germany and Norway were already knocked out, so I was just curious if you guys knew what that was.
Yeah, not sure.
No, I don't follow the World Juniors as closely as I would like to, which sounds dumb because it's like we'll just follow it, but but yeah, every year I'm like, this is the year I pay attention to it, and then I inevitably get sidetracked. So I have no idea.
USA has looked really good this year. They destroyed Latvia, even though Latvia put up a good fight. They were battling the whole time in the quarterfinals, but yeah, it was like 7-2, I think was the final, maybe 7-3. It was pretty tough. And yeah, USA is looking like world beaters, and we do know now definitely how to pronounce Steve Buyum's name, so Boyum. So yeah, that was good. I was like, oh my gosh, finally. They were talking about him. I think he was the only either player or defender on Team USA that hasn't been drafted, but he's draft eligible this year. Likely going to be around the top 10 or so, maybe a little bit after that, in this draft class. So pretty good team.
I do have a live update on what that game is. That game is for relegation. So because Germany was the 5th place team, so last place in Group A, Norway was the last place team in Group B. So they didn't even make the playoff round. They'll be competing on Thursday for relegation. The winner will be in the World Juniors next year. The loser will have to work their way back up in future seasons to get back into the World Juniors. So there is something on the line when you're competing, and that's to not only try to win, but try to stay in. So it's similar to that of a league like, like English soccer, for example.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Interesting.
I'd probably take Germany in that one because they kind of got upset by Sweden. So, but you never know. Weird stuff happened this year, and more still to come.
Yeah, so I think Germany would be the favorite. They were 1-3. Norway was winless, the only winless team in the juniors. So
it'll be a big win for them though if they got it.
Mm-hmm.
True, and there's been upsets, so you never know. But it looks like Germany would probably be the favorite going in.
Yeah. So the tournament will have concluded by the time this episode releases, but next week when we could break it down and talk about the eventual champions, whoever that may be. I'm expecting USA, but you never know. There's still some really great teams left, so anything's possible. Speaking of great teams, the Winnipeg Jets. So we talked about them a little bit before with the playoff standings update, and yeah, they're doing really well lately. And one thing that's starting to get a little bit more buzz because the streak is continuing is they are on currently a 26-game streak of allowing 3 or less goals in each game. So the defense and Hellebuck have just been rolling. They've been really good, and they've been scoring enough to win most of those games too. They just won back-to-back games against Minnesota and a home-and-home, where they scored 4 goals in both and allowed 2, I think, in each. And I think they just beat LA too, didn't they? Maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of another team. But yeah, they are rolling, and this is probably the best that they've been performing, I think, since I want to say maybe the conference finals run back in 2017-18. Like, I think they look better than they looked last year when they ended up as a wild card spot and lost to Vegas in round 1. I don't know if you guys have really caught a lot of their... I mean, it's like, yeah, it's the Jets. You're probably not going out of your way too much to tune in, but they have been playing really well. They're second in the Central right now. want to see where they are in the league. They're fifth in the
They're, I
league
think, a
right
fifth.
now.
Fifth, you know.
Fifth over
They have
Vegas.
they have a
They've got
9-1-8.
games in hand against Colorado and Vancouver.
They have a collective 9-1-8 save percentage, which is second best in the league, just under the Bruins.
Of course.
And you got so Hellebuck and then Laurent Brossoit. I mean, he was helping Vegas last year get pushed not only into the playoff, or no, he pushed through the playoffs to get them started. And then now he's helping out the Jets probably make a playoff push, and we'll see what they do once they get there.
It's so crazy that no one's talking about this stat. Like, 26 games and like 3 goals or less is just crazy to me.
That
like
is
I didn't hear about it until you wrote it down.
like that is not an insignificant amount of games. Like,
Yeah.
And also, so I just
Especially
found the previous record was 22 games held by the 1920 Tampa Bay Lightning.
damn,
The
okay.
1920 Tampa Bay Lightning.
2019, 2020.
Oh, I was like 1920. I was like,
Sorry, yeah.
what? I got you. I was like,
I
wait a
did not.
second.
I didn't know they were that old.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
that
my
is
goodness.
a ridiculous stat.
In
That's
18
some like
games, Connor Hellebuck has a 931 save percentage and 2 goals against average, and Brossoit has a 924 and a 2.19.
Yeah,
And they're
like,
17-5-2 for 36 points. This was written when it was a 25 or 24 game streak. Number 1 in the league by points and point percentage at this time.
and I think a lot of Jets fans are like, it's okay. Like, you really don't have to keep talking. Like, you don't have to talk about us. Like, we don't want
Yeah.
anybody to know how good we are. Just like, yeah, we're the Jets. We're okay. Like, yeah.
There's only 1 shutout, 4 goals with 1 goal against or less, 17 games with 2 goals against or less. Power play at 19.1, penalty kill at 79.1.
So not great
Those
numbers.
are not great.
Goaltending. I think goaltending has a lot to do with it. And then if you look at their stats as well, they're another one of those teams where the points are spread out. You have Scheifele won at 36, but I mean, you got and he has 12 goals this season, but you have 4 other players that are double digits goals. Connor's 17, Ehlers, Perfetti, and then Niederreiter as well. So again, it's another one of those teams where it's kind of like a death by a million cuts, where you just got everybody who's capable of producing something, rather than your top line doing everything for you.
Which worked out pretty well for Vegas last year.
Exactly. So that, I think that's what you're starting to see, is it's like, okay, well, we don't necessarily need to have the best line in hockey. We just need to have good depth and above average 4 lines, if possible, or at least a couple lines, and average 3-4 you should be set. Yep.
So I mean, I know I'm always like I like all the small market teams sort of thing, but I'm happy for Jets fans for right now. Have a little stability. They haven't really been there that long since they came back. Just nice for them to have at least something like fun and good to root for as far as the team, rather than just like hoping they maybe get in the playoffs and then another disappointing year. Like, yeah, that's kind of been the norm for a long time. I think that conference finals run was the only deep run that they've had, maybe ever. I don't know if they've ever gotten to the conference finals before that. Maybe a couple times, or maybe as the old
right.
Jets.
You're right. Since they relocated 2011 onward, the best they've ever done was the conference finals run against Vegas in Vegas's inaugural season. Since then, the best they've ever done was the second round, where they lost 2020, 2021.
Canadians.
They lost 4 to the Canadians. So other than that, they've never made it past the first round, just twice. So this would be huge if they actually made a serious push this year.
Yeah.
And when the year like Scheifele made that stupid, was he the one that got suspended, being really
he
dumb
almost
and
killed
just
that
ran over
Canadian
whoever.
player by the net.
Yeah. Who?
Yeah.
I can't remember what
I can't remember the
player
Canadians
it was. It was one of their young young guys.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, that
I can
was
spell Shifley, yeah.
that was
I can
just.
never spell that
I
name.
remember seeing that live, and I was like, "This is
Jake Evans.
so stupid."
Yeah, you're like, what the
Jake
hell are you
Evans.
doing, man?
Jake
Yeah, that
Evans,
was.
yeah. Like the game was clearly over. The
Maybe.
series was basically done. He
Yep,
just
Jake Evans.
hit him.
Yeah, just take this kid's head off. Reminded me of those videos of like the like illegal hockey hits, but they're doing like the UFC dummy, like flying through the air and like kicking him in the face and like shit like that. Like it was like one of those like so unhinged. Like,
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
it's weird.
Talking about unhinged,
Oh.
Elvis Murs Lincolns.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was wondering where you were going.
Ugh.
I was trying to
Anytime
do
Tom
one of the
Wilson gets
classic.
punched, I love it. So
I was trying to do one of the classic bread segues. But yeah, I'm not surprised. Tom Wilson, of all people, it's got to be the Capitals, that are starting some of this nonsense.
yep. Yeah, that's what else can you say? Tom Wilson's involved, it's probably his fault. He was probably being a dirtbag, so
Well, if you didn't see the play, basically, Tom Wilson ended up like in the back of Merzlikins' net, and like one of the defenders shoved him in there, and then Merzlikins like was going for his goalie stick, and Tom Wilson was kind of like on top of it, so Merzlikins just punched him in the face.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting because I did see it. And it's like, I think obviously Wilson doesn't help his case, but I didn't really understand why he got so upset so quick, Merce Lincoln's, because it's like, you're right. Wilson's driving the net, and then it's like the defender who's on him and Wilson collide, and they, go into the net behind Merce Lincoln's. Then he goes back to get his stick, but before he goes to reach for it, he shoves Wilson, and he shoves Wilson back into the net. And it's like, well, you're not helping your case there. And then he gets more upset because now he can't get a stick because Wilson's on it. It's like, well, you kind of did that to yourself.
Probably
too.
not an isolated incident, if I had to take a guess.
I think it's also
I'm
just
assuming
'cause
Wilson
game
was
situation.
probably going after him, before that point. But I was also surprised that Merz Lincoln's only got a 2-minute minor, I think, for that, right?
Yeah.
Like, should he have gotten more? I don't know, but I think they were surprised on the broadcast when I watched the highlight of him only getting the minor.
Yeah, I mean it was also
Could've
in
been just-
overtime.
yeah. And also since of just like it's Tom Wilson, he has that reputation, so he was probably like, oh, it's this guy on my net. Like surely he's doing it on purpose when it didn't really look like he was actually doing anything this time around, but kind of the same deal with who's that guy that just got like knocked unconscious, getting hit in the glass? Guy I think on the Panthers. Same kind of deal where it's like,
Nick Cousins.
yeah, like just like has that reputation of like this guy is like doing dirty stuff sometimes. So I'm gonna assume he's doing dirt right. Same kind of deal.
Yeah. The hockey player who cried wolf.
Yeah.
It's like, I actually wasn't doing anything this
Yeah,
time.
it's like,
Well,
guys, this time I actually was. It's like, well,
should have thought about that.
yeah, right.
All right, Brandon, let's hear it.
Bread goes 2 for 2, baby. So I'm wearing my Buffalo jersey, my 50th anniversary, for those listening today, because I went over to the Buffalo area for New Year's Eve. So I went on the 30th. I said I'm doing a double feature, so I went to the Sabres game with Bree and her parents. And then we went to the following day, Bree and myself went to the Bills game versus the Patriots on New Year's Eve. So I got to see not only 2 wins out of 2, which is very rare for me. I meant to look and see what the updated record is. I think I can
Now he's
figure that out.
16.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool, and I don't have any proof of this other than Bree and Bree's parents can corroborate my story. Bree said she was actually going to call in and try to fix some things, but then she listened to me make fun of her in one of the other episodes of the podcast for something, and then she said, I'm not doing it anymore. So what I'm building up to is I correctly predicted the score of the Sabres game prior to the game. I said 3-2 overtime win for the Sabres. and that's exactly what happened. So, very rare for me to not only predict a win but also get it, and predict the game situation too. So, I was pretty happy with that trip.
So the question is, did you buy a lottery ticket post the trip? You know, because your luck's coming all at once right now.
Would have been a good idea, but no. I did not. Trying to see if I can find my record, unless Dean already had it.
Hopefully, I can channel some of your luck from this past trip on my my trip coming up later this month. Hopefully, Vegas can go 2-0 there then as well.
You doing another? Was it Islanders and Rangers, or Islanders and Devils?
Yeah, I think I mentioned that on one of the other pods. So it's I think when I mentioned it previously, it was unofficial. It is official. I'm going to I think it's the 21st, 22nd, back-to-back nights. First night is in Jersey, and then the second night is in New York. So we'll see the Devils and the Islanders. Vegas is playing both games. So I'm not doing so hot as of late. I want to say it was my 1-3-1 in Vegas games. So hopefully we can get a couple more wins on the board. But we will see. Vegas is not showing up as well recently. So hopefully they get things together, and a couple more players get healthy. Hopefully Hill gets back in net. And hopefully maybe Theodore is good to go by then. That'd be nice.
That would be good.
Just to see a more well-rounded team play.
Yeah, that would be nice. So, I'm obviously pushing for you as well. But yeah, and Bill's game was good. Weather was warm. Well, not crazy warm, but I was not cold. Bree was cold.
Didn't freeze to death, yeah.
Yeah, so I was pretty happy with that. There wasn't really much wind or anything. I dressed appropriately. Bree got me a nice Bill's winter jacket that I was able to debut, and
Nice.
so now I guess I'm gonna have to wear that to every game. I was actually thinking about this. I think I've been to 4 Buffalo games. I know I've been to 4 in Buffalo, 2 Bills and 2 Sabres, and the Buffalo team has won all of those games. I was rooting for Vegas in one of them, so that one goes against me, but still I haven't seen the Sabres lose or the Bills lose, so it's pretty rare for me considering my overall record. But I've only been to those 2 football games, so I guess I got lucky there.
So the Sabres is one of those arenas that I want to head out to fairly soon, and I was curious what your thoughts are on where you would rank, I guess, the arena and the game performance and the experience there compared to the other arenas that you've been to. Would you say it's just kind of middle of the road? Was it top? I know you liked the Devils, well, obviously in Vegas.
Yeah.
But I'm curious where that falls in your rankings.
It's not really not that bad. It doesn't really blow me away. I can't really speak much to the parking situation because we're actually able to get a really good spot. Bree's parents go frequently because they are season ticket holders for the Buffalo Bandits, who are the lacrosse team that plays there. So they have a spot sort of scouted out, which is actually really close to the arena, that nobody normally parks in. So we lucked out there. But as far as in arena, the offerings for the experience and stuff, and just the venue itself, I think it's maybe a little crowded in some of the hallways. I feel like could be a little bit wider, but I feel like you could say that about almost any arena. There's only going to be so much room with trying to pack 18,000 plus people in there. I think the amenities are pretty good. The food didn't blow me away, but I didn't try everything on the menu. Actually, I don't think we ate anything there this time. I hated the Bills games. That must be what I'm thinking of. But I'd probably put it in around the middle of the pack for the ones that I've been to. I've been to a little over 10. So
What's your favorite so far, Brad?
Arizona.
Vegas.
yeah, it's got to be Vegas.
That figures,
Like,
yeah.
I'm biased, but also I think it was a crazy atmosphere, and I mean, I'm sure Dean can attest to it too.
It was pretty
Um,
cool.
Like, yeah, the sound system is like unreal, and they just have a lot of cool stuff going on there. So
I like the pregame
I like them.
show, and then just like all the little things they did in between like stoppages and
Yeah.
all that.
No, they did a really good job. They're they're entertainment for a reason. Entertainment capital. And I've also mentioned I like the Columbus one quite a bit. I thought they have a really nice arena. They got a good arena district, and good food.
Boston in your top 3, top 5?
I feel like I don't remember a ton about Boston, but I did like it.
The food wasn't very good that we got. I remember that.
Yeah. We
I'd
had
say, because I've
terrible.
been to Boston. I'd say it's just average. It's just average.
We had terrible seats.
Feels average.
Well, not
That too.
terrible.
We were
but
the back row, like
We were the
literal.
furthest row from the ice. Yeah. I'd probably put Prudential over TD Garden probably because I've been there like 3 times, but I also just really like how Prudential is laid out, and the experience I've had there have all been good. There's definitely still a lot I have to go to though. So, like, I want to get to some of the newer ones, like Climate Pledge. I think would be really cool. I did go to UBS, which is fairly new, and I do think that one has a pretty good experience. I know Zane's been at least a couple of times, right?
Yeah, I think twice now. We also went to Prudential together once, Brad. I don't
Yeah,
know
we
if you've
did.
forgotten about our time together there.
Oh no, I knew all about it. Yeah, so I want to get to some of the newer ones. Maybe Calgary will be getting a new one soon. Maybe Washington. Maybe, hopefully, please, Arizona. Although that one probably will be lower on the totem pole to get to, just because I've already been to an Arizona arena, even though it was kind of decrepit and bad.
You remember at that game, there was like a thing on the Jumbotron to download this app to play a game, and like me and Owen both downloaded it, and it didn't work.
It was like, it was just terrible, and what was it? Just like so slow and bloated that like by the time you put in your like you tried to play the game, like the game was already over or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh my
Good
goodness.
time.
Game
You'll
was
have
kind
to
of fun.
release a list of your like rankings of arenas, and then like as you, I don't know if you already have, maybe you already have this. And then, as you go to visit new ones, you can, figure out where that belongs.
Yeah,
based off of like.
I don't currently have a ranking, but I do have a list. I know for a fact of all the arenas I've been to, which
That's
I
good.
can quickly rattle off.
I think my second favorite that you haven't been to is Wells Fargo.
I have been to Wells Fargo. Actually,
I thought you hadn't.
No, I have. Zane and I went there. Zane, Justin, and I all went to Wells Fargo. Actually, we had a great experience, despite the
That's good.
Leafs winning.
They
Oh
also
yeah,
gave
we
us-
had the what were those tickets called? Like the whatever, like the VIP ticket things, like underground buffet and stuff, or the
Yeah.
under the rink buffet and stuff. That was a lot of fun. And our insane Uber driver that was like doing 98 miles an hour on the ride back.
Yeah,
on,
dude,
like,
he was
Philadelphia Highway.
he was kind of crazy.
He was a nutcase, and his like Ford Fusion, whatever the hell it was, and he was.
And the guy on the way there was kind of creepy too, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was weird. He was
He was like we were in like some
watching people walk by.
Yeah,
let's say.
he was like making note of like people as they walk by while we were like in traffic. We're like, okay.
It's like,
That's
hey
nice.
man, you're like 60, and those are like college students. So
Yeah.
bleh. That was
Got a live
lovely.
update on the PWHL game happening right now. Someone in the comments just said, at the PWHL, you guys should put the shot on the overlay. And the PWHL replied saying, noted, thank you.
Oh wow,
Nice.
that's
We're
great.
getting
There you
there.
I haven't been looking for that.
So we'll watch and see if like next week all of a sudden the shot counter appears, and if it does, that's a good sign because if they're
Yeah.
willing to take feedback and actually listen and do something about it,
Like they're
then
reading
that's
YouTube
really
comments. That's
huge.
pretty crazy.
Yeah, like
It's good.
especially in an
Yeah.
11,000 or 12,000 people stream.
18,000.
18. Okay, that's great. But yeah, Philly was awesome. Wells Fargo's really cool. I think they do get a couple extra bonus points because we got to do the thing where we go underneath the arena and there's like free food and you get beverages and stuff down there and you could pretty much just sit in your seats only for the actual game and then you just go right down over there during the intermissions. That was really cool. But I thought they had a great setup. Anyways, I'll rattle off the list of the ones I've been to. So I already mentioned KeyBank Center, which is Buffalo, Prudential, New Jersey, Madison Square Garden is New York Rangers, UBS Arena is the Islanders, TD Garden, Boston Bruins. Been to the Ottawa Senators home in Canadian Tire Center, and Bell Center for Montreal. And then Wells Fargo is Philly. I've been to PPG Paints, which is Pittsburgh, and then Nationwide, which is Columbus. That's all the eastern ones. And then the two out west are T-Mobile for Vegas, and it was Gila River Arena for Arizona. I have not been to Mullet Arena. Would be cool, though. And
Yeah.
playoffs in Mullet Arena, like, it's looking more and more
That must
likely.
be crazy. That must be a friggin' blast.
Like-
That's almost worth making a trip out west to
I
Arizona.
know
like, just
it
to
would
go
be
see
really
it.
cool, and
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, it has crossed my mind, but it's probably not in the cards because there's
Yeah.
only
It's probably
4,600
expensive.
seats.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Is that gonna be more expensive than like a Bruins playoff ticket? Like the supply and demand will just get it to similar price point.
Yeah, I don't know.
It depends who they're playing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like what position they're in. But still, it'd be cool. I mean, yeah, like flights would probably not be cheap no matter what. Like I could
Yeah.
drive to a Boston game and drive back the same night if I really wanted to. I could not do that for Arizona easily. There'll be like a 2-day drive at least. It would be cool though if especially if they were playing Vegas, like to get to see. Like I don't know, like I would kind of want to root for the home team if I was at a playoff game, unless it was against my team. But, yeah, like it would be cool to be that much closer to like seeing the players, you know, especially in
Phoenix
such
is only
intense-
a 13-hour drive from me.
Oh, there you go.
Only 13.
Yeah. Well,
So-
comparatively, that's pretty good.
We'll
True,
We'll fly over to Colorado, and then we'll both drive out to Phoenix,
There we go.
and then sneak into the game so we don't have to pay for it. I wonder if they sell or like reserve a certain number of tickets for ASU students.
That'd be a nice perk.
That would be really cool.
Probably not.
I'll enroll in a master's program there just to secure some tickets. I'll go back to school.
Yeah, it's cheaper.
That'd be fun. Well, we pretty much hit on all the major ones. I don't know if you guys are too familiar with some of the ones down here. Did you guys see this goal in the Canadiens Lightning game that I was referencing?
Nope.
Oh, where like everyone thought the play was dead, and then like it wasn't. Like the Lightning goal like skated to the bench, and like nobody was playing, and then I saw like a clip on Twitter that like zoomed in and like the back like linesman like referee or whatever next like the Habs player that had the puck. The Habs player like looked at him, and the ref was like yeah, we didn't blow shit. Like keep going, and the Lightning Twitter got unhappy about that
Yeah.
clip, but I did see that goal. That'll make it to, like the weird NHL.
Oh, definitely. So to recap, for those of you who aren't familiar with what we're referencing, Montreal was playing in Tampa Bay, and there was a shot on goal from, I think it was one of the defenders for Tampa, and then Montembeault looks like he covered it, like with his legs, with his pads, looked like he squeezed it, but then the ref didn't immediately call the play to be dead. He didn't blow his whistle, so Montembeault grabbed it with his glove and like played it, and all the Lightning players, including Vasilevsky down at the other end of the ice, thought that the play was over, so Vasilevsky started just skating toward the glass, just like they always do when the play's dead. And then Kovacevic launches it right down the ice, nails the empty net, and the goal counts. So it was pretty wacky, but also pretty smart of them. Like, yeah, play until the whistle blows, and the Lightning did end up winning the game anyways, which kind of makes it not as fun, because it would have been fun if that was like a game deciding goal, or if Montembeault was the one who actually shot it instead of Kovacevic. Like, imagine the first goalie goal scored on an actual goalie rather than an empty net. Like, yeah, he wasn't in the net, but the play was still going on while the goaltender was out on the ice, so that would have been really cool. But that will probably never happen, if I had to take a guess. A goal.
Never know.
It would be
Never say never.
It would be very difficult for a goalie to trick another goalie enough with a shot. Like, you'd have to first get it all the way down to the other end, and then it would have to still have enough speed to like bounce in a weird way where they
hit like a
get it.
stanchion where it's like going around the board and he like pops out and almost goes in from a player, but like a goalie would have to do that.
Yeah, right. Like, I just have a hard time seeing a goalie being able to build up enough speed while the play is going on to get it to carry him off a stanchion in a way that it would trick you. But maybe it'll happen and it'll be really, really cool. Could happen this year. We already had one goalie goal, so why not more?
True.
2024, the weird NHL era.
I'm watching the weird goal, and like even the camera is like zooming in on players on the bench and stuff.
Yeah. The
Yeah, and then all of a
cameraman-
Yeah, I just watched it.
Camera zooms back out, and everyone's like, "Oh shit, we're gonna miss it."
This would be the camera director guy that says like cut to this shot.
Yeah.
We'll fool that guy.
Yeah. Fool our camera crew.
Yeah.
There obviously was a shot of it because there's so many cameras.
Right.
Actually, I didn't even put this on here because I just thought of it. But I don't know if you saw, but at the Winter Classic, can't remember which player it was. Maybe Borgen or somebody found like a fly on the ice, and so he went to go put save the fly basically and put it through the camera hole with his stick, and the photographer who was at the camera hole like thought he was just like coming up to get like his picture taken or whatever, so she got like some nice shots of him. It's like, oh, he was just picking up
To get
this
pictures of the
ice
fly?
this fly from
Doing
the
his
ice.
best.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's like, oh my gosh. That's so silly.
It was a smart play by him to just go for the open net though, like not try to pick it up the ice. He just went for it
Yeah.
from like his blue line.
Like he could have iced it for sure. Like he didn't hit it like directly. It's not that easy, but still. Yeah, smart heads up play. Vasilevsky obviously had no chance. He wasn't even close to the net. Didn't even know what was going on. So, that's a lesson for all you NHL players listening today. And all you beer leaguers. Everywhere in between.
now you're speaking my language.
Yeah.
In the beer league.
Keep an eye on that, Zane.
I'll do what I can.
Pacioretty's coming back today. His first game back since early January or mid-January of last year.
Oh yeah, didn't he? Like the last time he played, he came back for like a game or something, right? And then got injured again. Is that what happened, or
Yeah,
was it somebody else?
he played like
Yeah,
three
he-
or four games, I think.
Yeah, for like Carolina, right? And then like got injured again or something like that. Is that what happened?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's struggled recently. Well, for I guess a while. I mean, if you look at his stats, it's like his and this is why Vegas let him go. It's just because it was like he was out for half the season. But in his last 2 years with Vegas, he played 48 games, and then he played 39 games, and then with Carolina, he played five. He played five. And then he was out. And like one of those games, I think he got pulled like mid game or something.
I think it was because
I think he played
Achilles. I want to say.
Yeah, I believe that's what it was. And then I think he played a game after that, which that was the January 19th game, and then that's the last time he's played. So we're looking at like almost a year, like a couple weeks off the year to the day that he played. So we'll see. I mean, not that you would expect too much from him. I mean, he's already getting up there in age, and with an injury past, we'll see if he does anything. But I mean, it definitely helps the Caps. I mean, it can't hurt the Caps, really. So,
yeah, it was a pretty low risk signing that they signed him to, like knowing the injury potential, but
but his high upside.
He's got a good wrist shot.
Yeah, and he's capable. I mean, like he's put up 30 goals twice, and then he was, even if he wasn't putting up 30 goals, he was still producing a lot of points for Vegas, and he was meaningful, and for some of those games, like when he came back for the playoffs, that was huge. Everyone was waiting for him to show up. I forget which year that was. Maybe that was the last year he played for Vegas. I can't remember. But yeah, good for him to get back out there and compete again.
Yeah. And I'll just throw this in there. I don't know if you guys saw this. So there was because the Jets and the Wild played back-to-back games. So in the first game of the 2-game set, I guess, there was a play with Brendan Dillon and Kaprizov. I didn't actually see the play, but it resulted in an injury for Kaprizov. So the next game, Hartman at the face-off dot basically high-sticked Perfetti right in the face, and he told him that he did it basically in retaliation. Like, even though Perfetti wasn't involved in the play that got the injury to Kaprizov, he basically just picked him because he's like the smallest guy in the team, more or less, and just wanted there to be some sort of retaliation. So, then that was all, like, the audio for that was actually caught on Cole Perfetti's, because he was wearing a mic that day. But I didn't know this until this happened, but there's as part of the NHLPA agreeing to players wearing mics, like they can't be used for hearing decisions or for penalties or whatever. So he was only fined like the maximum allowable in the CBA for the high stick, but he was not suspended at all. Which it was basically like the same play as that Perron suspension, like their whole retaliation for an injury to another player. Pretty direct, hit to the head. Basically the same, and he got 6 days. I know the appeal is still sort of going on with that. He's already served the suspension, though. So.
Kind of unlucky for Perfetti, too, because the first center got waved out. I'm sure he would have gotten hit, too. Like, it was just, Hartman was going to hit whoever.
Going to hit somebody.
So he got pulled into that situation.
Yeah.
I'm curious if the league's decision would have changed if they were able to use the audio. Like, how different that sentence would have been.
Maybe a game.
Spin the wheel, as we like to say.
That is true.
Tick, 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 and maximum allowable fine under the CBA, which is basically like $7 to these guys.
Yeah, like the cost of a Big Mac, and like, all right, worth it.
Yeah, they're like, that's it. So that's the precedent. I can kind of hit whoever I want as long as I got a mic on or somebody else does.
Yeah, it's like one of those, like, see you next week.
Yeah,
see you next month.
Yeah. I don't know. They probably have maybe one more game left in their season series. I'm not sure. If they do, oh boy.
That'll be a fun one.
Look out. Yeah. So, kind of a little scrubby from Hartman, in my opinion. Like,
Yeah, it's kind of like a. If it was the guy that injured Kaprasov, I'm like, fine, I guess. But just like hit some guy in the face.
and I feel like there was a fight at the beginning of the game too, like sort of in response to the injury. Like so I feel like they already had sort of settled it more or less. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but still, kind of weird.
Yeah, kind of a weird thing to do from Hartman. I don't know.
I guess he's got a bit of a history with suspensions and things like that. I think they said he's been, I can't remember the numbers. It was like every 10 games or something that he's played, he's served like that amount of suspensions. Or like he's played 530 games and been suspended like 53 games worth or something like that. I can't remember. But yeah, not good. Well, I gotta let Eddie in.
Gotta.
I think we're pretty much wrapping up anyways.
Yeah.
Unless you guys have anything else pressing.
Not really.
No, we hit
No,
the
unless
list.
you wanted to talk about that Henderson jersey or not, or leave that for a different week.
I don't have much to say about it except that it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I
it's
think
like a
it's
new
cool,
black
that's all I'd
logo.
say.
Yeah.
But
Although I went and looked it up ahead of time. I really don't like that. What is there like? It's like what House Henderson is like their thing, or like Henderson whatever way they have it. I want it to be the other way. Like I read
Yeah,
it on
it's-
their site, and I'm like, make that the other way, and it's much better. And I can't remember
It's
what
House
they.
Henderson, so you want it
Yeah,
to be
like-
Henderson, House.
House.
Yeah, I just think that sounds better. I don't know. Maybe it's just, I don't know, me being quirky. But I don't know. I just think I don't know. House Henderson doesn't do it for me.
Otherwise, I think the logo. I mean, the logo looks pretty cool.
The logo
You
itself
know,
is
it's-
sick. The logo
yeah.
and branding is sick. Yeah, that's yeah.
And I
Yeah.
still like that Henderson try to like mimic Vegas, and that like Vegas has the V, like Henderson has the H, and then it's always cool when they have the two logos, one on each shoulder. So that's like, here's where I'm going if I play in the NHL, and here's where I'm currently playing.
Yeah. Yeah, they did a pretty
Right.
good job like aligning their franchise with the big club, which I know some fans like prefer to have the American League team have their own identity, especially because like sometimes these teams, if they're not very close to their NHL affiliate, that they change hands sometimes. But I think it's pretty unlikely that the team literally right in Nevada would switch affiliates. So I think it's probably a safe bet and good move.
And you can
by
always
the league.
rebrand. Like, there's always the opportunity to rebrand. So even if it did match a previous team and then it switches, affiliations, you can definitely, you can change the name, you can change the logo, you can change just about everything.
Yeah.
Teams do it anyway, so.
Very true. So I guess that's our show today. We just experimenting with our 4-person. I don't think it was too chaotic, which is good. And I don't know if this probably won't be the precedent because it's pretty rare that we have 2 people other than Dean and myself available at once. But maybe we can do it again. I'm sure Owen would be interested.
Your internet can handle it, which is good to know.
Yeah,
And
I
we
didn't even
didn't,
think about that.
Yeah.
We didn't play any games this time, but it's always good for, to have like almost like a 2-on-2 game, maybe. Or I guess maybe you'd have to have 5 people at that point, right? Because somebody knows the questions. being
Mediator,
answered.
yeah.
So there's always, I'm waiting for the days where there's like 6 people, like 7 people on a call. Like, let's
God.
just see how many people we can put on a pod at one time.
We also could do this not necessarily for a podcast, but I got the card game Watch Hockey Get Drunk
Oh yeah.
for Christmas. And that's up to, I think it's like 3 to 11 players or something.
I
Except
think
that
you
would
can
probably
play with as many people as you want. Like, it's just like watch hockey and drink when there's a power play.
the tough part would be to like I'd have to like have a camera, like show someone the cards to the camera, and then you like take a screenshot or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
We gotta look and see if there's an online version.
Yeah.
Certainly meant for in-person viewing, which maybe someday. Dean was pretty close to me over the holiday break, but we weren't really able to do anything.
Mm-hmm. And the Bruins weren't in town.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Of course. That was a bummer.
And also, if they would have, I mean, they lost all their games while I was home anyway. Or they won, they beat Buffalo, but
Free space.
yeah.
I know like back in the day, I played an online version of Cards Against Humanity over Skype before. So Cards Against Humanity is a bit more, and it wasn't like exactly the same, but it was the same principle. But that's a lot bigger than probably this game is. So I'd
Well,
imagine there isn't an
there's
online
probably a
version.
website with like blank cards, and I can just fill in every single card with the game. and
Yeah,
just
there you
copy
go. Maybe we could do an exclusive YouTube video for that if
it. There we go.
we find out.
Honestly, like
all
90%
your
of the cards are for
Patreon members.
information.
Yeah.
Yeah, Patreon.
Yeah, exactly. The Patreons. Thanks.
Top tier, they're invited to my
Patreons.
house so we can play.
Top tier subscriber, go to Dean's house.
$5 a month.
And invitation doesn't mean we fly you out. It just means you're allowed to come.
Yes, so I'll open the door for you.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you're a vampire, you're allowed to come in. We'll keep you updated. But hey, thanks everybody for tuning in this time. We appreciate Zane and Gifford taking the time to come with us today on the show. And for all you folks listening, if you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so if you enjoy the show, or giving us a like, although that doesn't really do anything at this stage.
We'll do it.
Or comment.
Follow
We'll
us
answer
on
it.
our Spotify and Twitter and what have you.
Or
Wherever
call
you
the
find
number.
your podcasts.
Yeah, wherever you view your podcasts, unless it's not like one of the big four ones. If it's like Amazon or something, sorry.
Then pirate it.
Yeah, there you go.
Any view counts.
Yeah, exactly. And we got the email and the phone line as well. I don't think we got any phone messages this time. And
We did
got,
not, I checked.
We got a spam email, so
Huge.
Better than nothing. We're making someone viewed the podcast.
living the dream. Yeah, thanks for your one view. We'll catch you guys next time.
Yeah.
Please tell me I sound pretty. I need the affirmation.
You sound excellent.
Yes. Go.
You sound whatever the opposite of pretty is.
Dang it! I sound like Justin. Fuck.